Hello and welcome back to Helpful Human Design Tips. Today I am talking about the law of assumption in human design. Okay, so bear with me here. I've been thinking a lot about this and contemplating it a lot this week. And when I first thought about this law of assumption and where you would find it in human design, I was thinking, of course, it has to be the G center, right? Because the G center is this point of identity in order to use the law of attraction, not use the law of attraction, in order to flow with the law of attraction and in order to flow with the law of assumption, you have to shift your identity and shift your beliefs and put it out there and then be able to vibrate at that frequency so you can bring it in, right? Because the law of assumption is about basically projecting it out there and saying, I assume that this is going to happen. And then the universe is rearranging it for that. But I've been, there's been some flaws in where I was finding this. Okay. And so I think this is why I would probably personally never give the law of assumption that very special place in the Big 12. Because like I mentioned before in my previous video, for me, the law of assumption is all very much a mental game, right? You're believing that this is going to happen and it's going to come in. And so that is, for me, falling under the law of attraction, right? Because the law of attraction is about vibrating at that very specific frequency so that you can pull it in. And so we could talk about the G center, because the G center is, this area where we have our specific beliefs and our identity and all of these really fun things that we could talk about, but it just wasn't sitting right with me. So instead, I'm going to talk to you about gate 20, which you're probably very vaguely maybe familiar with gate 20. It is the gate of the now, or the gate of now. And I have mentioned it in the past videos. It is my unconscious Mars sign. So this is kind of a big placement in my personal human design chart. So I have thought about it a lot. So let me explain what this gate is. So gate 20 is about being present in the present moment, right? It is located in the throat center, which is our portal of manifestation according to human design. But this particular gate really works best when you are living in the very present moment. Okay, so I have been contemplating the gene key, shadow, gift, and city of this particular gate. And it really got me thinking about the law of assumption, because the shadow of this particular gate is the shadow of superficiality. And superficiality, the way they describe it in the gene keys, is really strange and fascinating and kind of weird, but also really made me think of the law of assumption. Okay, so law of assumption is mental. When we are living in the shadow of gate 20, we are in this vibration of superficiality. And superficiality is kind of like a mindless chatter that goes on in our head, right? And so when we are living in this gate, we are, and this is what the gene key says, okay? We are very similar to insects, where we are just kind of moving around. We're very busy. We're not necessarily thinking about what is happening ahead of us. We are not necessarily thinking about what has happened in the past. We are literally just kind of moving along in action, just trying to stay busy, right? And that is very human of us, right? It's very easy to get caught in this state of chatter, what's next. And it's because we as humans think in this very linear path, right? And so when we are using the law of assumption, or, interpreting it or working with it or whatever verbiage you want to do, we are projecting out what we want. And then it's very human of us to begin like, okay, I told the universe that I want this red car model, whatever. And then all of a sudden our brain's like, okay, well, I told the universe this and I assume that the universe is going to bring it to me, but I need to know how and when and what am I doing? And so our brains just start moving along in this linear way if we are living in the shadow, right? We're assuming and we're just putting it out there, but we are also kind of in the back of our mind running through this process of like, what if? Well, how about this? Maybe this. What about this? Blah, 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 blah. And it kind of is that very mental state, which is what, in a very low sense is what the law of assumption is, okay? And so in order to really, really connect with the law of assumption and the law of attraction, we need to move into the gift of gate 20, which is self-assurance. It's that self-assurance of being like, I know it's going to work out. I don't have to worry about the how. I don't have to worry about the when. I don't have to worry about anything other than like, yes, that's fine. And that's a very difficult thing sometimes for people to do if you have not practiced it. That's why meditation's kind of a big key, right? So I think that for me, this gate is really important because it is basically saying like, it's in the throat center. It's in this manifestation part of our human design. And it's saying like, yes, you are this powerful manifester. Yes, you can attract all of the things that you want in the universe, but you have to live in the present moment. You can't be letting your mind get in the way. You can't be thinking about how it's going to come in, when it's going to come in, blah, 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 blah. You can't even be taking mindless actions trying to pull it in. You have to stay here in this present moment and then sit and wait for things to come to you so that you can act upon them. And that's a very, it's a kind of a high concept gate, right? Like this is one that I've been thinking about a lot. And this is, since it's in my unconscious Mars, this is like, what do they call it? My core shame. And, is that I need to just be like, bleh. Nope, this is it. We're just sitting here in this present moment and we are going to do it. To sit in the present moment and to really feel fulfilled and quiet your mind and just kind of like observe everything around you. It's kind of tough sometimes, right? We live in a very distracting society and there's a lot of pretty colors out there and I understand that. But this is what, if you want to utilize the law of assumption to its greatest impact, and I think you should, because I think it's a great, it's a great like subset of the law of attraction. And I think it's very important, but I think you really need to start like looking at gate 20, the gate of now, and maybe start thinking about like, what would it take for me to step into that gift of self-assurance? What is it going to take for me to detach myself and let go of the outcome and just be like, it's cool if I get it. It's cool if I don't get it. I'm just going to let you roll with however you feel like, universe. It's a very interesting concept, and it's one that I think a lot of us want, but it's hard to turn off the chatter. So think about that. I think it works really well when we are talking about this law in particular. One of the things that I was journaling about this morning when I was doing this, I always like to associate like gods or goddesses or mythological creatures or monsters or whatever when I'm thinking about these things, because it kind of helps give me like this very nice visual to kind of like hold on to and be like, okay, what would this be like if I was sitting here with this creature or god or goddess or thing? And the one that comes to me when I think of gate 20 is Medusa, which, I mean, everybody knows who Medusa is. She's personally one of my favorites. I think she, has a bad rap. around her and everything, but she is fantastic for gate 20 because when you go into the presence of Medusa and you look at her, you are frozen. You have to live in that present moment and you have to feel what you need to feel. You have to let go of everything because you're just sitting there and you are petrified, but not really, but petrified is in stone. But you're just sitting there and you are just letting the world happen around you. Time is moving around you. Events are happening around you. Conversations may be happening around you, but you are like trying to be that stone statue like Medusa. Like she's right in front of you. You stared into her eyes. You are stone and you are still like that. I think that is a great it's a great visual for me when I think of this particular gate because nothing else matters in this present moment, right? Like time it's a human concept. And when we think about when things are going to happen or how things are going to happen or what things have already happened, it kind of just disorients like it disorients us as souls, and it's a very human thing. That's fine. It's very cool. It's helpful, but it's not helpful, whatever. This is like way more high concept things than we were going to talk about now. But trying to sit in the presence of Medusa and being present and being still, it's a really good visual for me. And it like aligns right up with gate 20, which is in our manifestation center, which if you truly want to harness that throat center in your human design, then, get to know and get to love gate 20 so that you can be still. And when you can let go of how things are going to happen or the timeline, and you can just still your mind and not be like a busy little insect, then you can start really flowing really nicely with the law of assumption. So that is what I have for you this week. A little contemplation, a little bit of mythological magic around gate 20, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.